even after it says you're live, you wonder if you actually are.
That's right. That's right. That's funny. So I guess we should probably start by saying something awesome.
There you go. You just said it. Something awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. Lots of time outside, lots of time in nature. Got lots of sun this weekend, swimming.
Yeah.
Sculpture gardening.
Sweet.
Drive-in movie.
That's right. You told me that. That's cool.
Yep. What's awesome with you?
Well, I got what's do you know what the tallest building in the world is, like flights wise?
Nope.
I'm wondering because between yesterday and today, I probably climbed to the top of it in the equivalent twice. Nice. I did over 400 flights combined between the 2 days. So I'm feeling pretty energetic and ready to get jiggy with it.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm feeling awesome today too. I'm super energetic, feeling really great. Going to go out for a run here in a little bit. So today's video is all about asking questions. I've got to tell you, this is a huge pet peeve of mine that's developed over years, and it all came out of a very cool coaching program that I developed a bunch of years ago. And I was, I think I had done the List Pros launch with Sean Casey.
Right.
And I think I had put together, we put 30,000 paying members into the list building club.
That's gotta suck, huh?
Yeah, it's good. And then I think I developed this coaching program called the Black Diamond Line. And I developed it because I found that simply you know how most teachers sit down and they plan and prepare a lesson, and then they have handouts or bullet points and some slides or a PDF, maybe some questions, some worksheets. As a matter of fact, you're pretty good at this. Like your level of attention to detail and ability to really lay out some lesson plans and so on. I found that part of teaching is one of the hardest things for me to do, and I get very little satisfaction from it. But we've also talked about this. I get a lot of satisfaction from solving problems. And so what I found was I created a coaching program that was all Q&A. 100%. You ask me a question, I'll give you an answer. And if I don't have the answer, I'll find it for next week. Right?
Or you make something up?
No. Well, yes, I will make something up, but I will never pretend that I know something that I blatantly have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. Right? And so it was so I developed it because I enrolled in Rich Shafran's Evergreen, no, not Evergreen, but it was called EBS.
EBS?
EBS, I think. Business Solutions. It was Rich Shafran's thing to help entrepreneurs really pop on a group level, and I took it. And we were just brainstorming and we were talking it through, and this coaching program came out of it. And so what happened was we had a whole bunch of entrepreneurs. I had, I think I had 150 people in there at $250 a month as an extra layer to the business. And there were teleseminars. This was still before streaming video was a consistently achievable thing. And so everyone got on the phone. And I had to figure out a way of training everyone to ask questions that would move their business forward, right? And so I'd like to teach you guys today how to ask profitable questions, okay? I said how to ask $1 million questions or $1 million marketing questions. But I think an easier way of putting it is how to ask profitable questions. And I definitely...
And really, when you get right down to it, asking better questions gets you better answers. And, oftentimes I find that people are asking the wrong questions entirely for what they really want to accomplish in their lives. So
a lot of times the questions are knee-jerk. They're emotional and they're based on how you're feeling in the moment when you happen to be in front of someone you can talk to that might be able to help you, rather than being thought through of, what if I could solve this problem, or if I had an answer to this question,
Right.
I'd be able to really do something amazing with my business. So I'd like to give the opportunity for anyone who's watching now or in the future to ask more profitable questions. So here's the deal, right? Number one, when you're asking a guru, a mentor, a teacher of any sort, marketing or otherwise, a question, you have to start with a sentence that has a question mark at the end of it.
As opposed to a statement?
As opposed to a 15-minute long run-on statement. Mm-hmm.
And or story. Because as we find out, like, no results plus a good story does not equal results, but everybody wants to tell you their story so that they can feel better about not getting the results that they want to get.
Feel justified and not look like such a doofus for like being stuck on the stupid thing that they wish to get past, and they feel bad about themselves for, and don't want to admit like the real thing that they've done to procrastinate or not deal with it because it's embarrassing or difficult or reminds them of some stupid crap that happened when they were a kid or whatever. You know, and we all do it.
Right.
You know, we all do it. So how to ask a good question. We've been training our NPOD students how to ask good questions on our implementation calls.
Yep.
Right. And it's very easy to get stuck. So if you could have any marketing, business, entrepreneurial questions answered, what would they be? So ask a question. How do I? How can I? What's a tool for that will do this? Or what do I need to learn in order to be able to blank? Right? These are good. Those are questions. Right? And then a good mentor, a good teacher, a good guide probably will ask you some more clarifying questions in order to lead you down the right path. And so I encourage anyone who has any marketing questions, if you just wish to say hi and hello, say hi and hello. If you have a business, what's your question? What's a email marketing, a list building, a audience connecting, a business doing, a money making question that you have that you really would like to have solved in order to help grow your business? Often in mastermind groups, this could be considered a hot seat where it's kind of a reverse hot seat where you get up and you really start addressing a challenge that you might have or a difficulty that you might have in front of a group or a panel of peers or experts. That's a little bit more of a time for longer description and backstory and so on. However, one of the biggest things that I've seen is that so often people just don't ask clear questions. So, and I find it really interesting that we have no questions coming in while we're having a video on questions. What do you think?
It's interesting. I don't know what's going on, but I put a comment in the Art of Email Marketing, and it came up, in our chat window. And I'm just on my homepage now, and I'm seeing that there's a bunch of comments from Ben Evans, and none of them are appearing in the Restream chat box. So, hello, Ben. No real questions, although he did ask something like, whatever happened to the days where I could pay you 25 grand and buy you a meal? I don't know what you're referring to there, Ben. But so he then asked as well, how do I become or get to where you two are business-wise and money-wise?
Ben, thank you for raising your hand and asking a question. I want to help you ask a more effective question. So number one is don't try to get to we are because you don't know where we are. You have no idea. You are imagining. Now, maybe you're imagining that we're at a much lower level than we actually are, or maybe you're imagining that we're at a much higher level. You definitely,
Well, and it doesn't matter anyway, because it's immaterial. Where we are is not where what's right or wrong for you. You need to get to where you want to go, not where we are or where we say we want to go. You need to get to where you want to go.
Yeah. So what I would say, Ben, is in the next 90 days, where do you want to be with your business? Like, how much money do you want to be making in your business 3 months from today? It's a very common question right? When getting clear on where people want to go. So back at you. It sounds like Ben is an NPOD student from back in the day, which is awesome.
Yep.
So where do you want to be in 90 days with your business, Ben? That's my question for you. So let's start there, and then let's get clear on your question, right? And I guess that would be the first thing is, how do I get where you two are? And by the way, Joshua and I are in two totally different places with our business and our life and what we're doing and financial. We're not in the same place. We're in two totally different places, right?
With somewhat compatible visions and somewhat opposing visions of what we're trying to accomplish and where we're trying to go and what we're trying to do with it.
That's right. That's right.
So Ben answer. Oh, are you watching my comments on the page there?
I am.
Okay. So I will then shut up and let you field it.
Yeah, earning at least $1,000 a month. Great. So, cool. Do you have an email list yet, Ben? Yes or no? And if so, how many people are on it and what niche or topic or tribe is it in? I'm going to actually go and open up Facebook on a few other channels and see.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything other than my comment in Art of Email Marketing, and I've been watching, and I'm on yours. I'm not seeing any comments coming in on your Dealy Bop either. So
Dealy Bop.
Yeah, not really sure why the comments aren't coming through. My comment did come through, then I refreshed the comment.
Maybe we have to go and
my comment came through in the Art of Email Marketing, but it doesn't appear to be coming through. Ben's aren't coming through.
Yeah, it's bizarre. I don't know.
So he says he has no email list and IDK what kind of niche I should choose and IDK how to market.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Ben, we've talked about this in chat multiple times about this, but I'm going to let Tellman field this so that because you're asking questions now that you already have access to the answers to.
Yeah. So, Ben, do you still have your NPOD CDs? If you bought NPOD back in the day, do you still have them?
I think he does, but I'll let him respond.
Cool. Well, being like, I'm a bad student probably isn't going to get you where you want to go, right? So
that's not serving you, Ben.
Totally not a useful affirmation, right? So, okay.
If you could wave a magic wand, Ben, and have it turn out any way that you say, not that you can't fail at it, but if you were guaranteed to have it look however you wanted it to look, what would that be? What would specifically, what are the outcomes that you're looking for with that magic wand? And more importantly, if you could wave a magic wand in 1 year from now, what would your life look like? How would it be different? What specifically do you want to see happen for you to be happy and satisfied with your progress in a year from now?
And making money on a monthly basis obviously is a piece to that puzzle. One thing I would throw out there is I have no idea what your living expenses are. I don't know if you're responsible for just yourself, for a partner, for children, or what your situation is exactly. But when you're thinking about how much money you want your business to be making, I would highly recommend that you have that be at least twice whatever your personal expenses are right now, because your business is going to have expenses to run it, right? And $1,000 a month, that's enough to run your business, but it probably wouldn't also pay for your personal expenses. So really important that when you're looking at your financial goal, look at what you need to make personally to more than cover to improve your standard of living and also cover all the expenses of running your business, right? So just consider that on the dollar amount. And Ben says he does have his CDs and he would have a mentor on Skype and would have money for a holiday. and have a better apartment. Okay, great. So those are all some things that would happen as a result of you having a great business. So the question is, what's the business? Like, what do you want the business to look like? What do you want your life to look like in order to so money is the byproduct of having the right business. It's a side effect. Like the money isn't it's not the point. It's the result. It's hard to explain. Do you have better language for this?
Well, I mean, you're saying exactly what I would have said. I mean, money is great, but that's not what you're trying to accomplish. I mean, money is what Tellman just said. The strategic byproduct of what you're doing, who you're being, is the money. And it's the classic conundrum of be, do, have. You don't. You can't become a millionaire until you're being that millionaire first, and yet, when you've never seen things in that fashion, when you've never looked at, if you've never been a millionaire before, if you've never been a thousandaire before, if you've never owned your own business and generated $1,000 a month in your own business, then you first have to become that person that is capable of doing that, and then you will automatically do the things that person will do, and then have the results that type of person has,
or at least something similar, right?
Yeah, I mean, it really does start with your internal way of being, your belief system. I mean, like I didn't become a millionaire for the first time until I stopped trying to become a millionaire in one fell swoop and acknowledged the fact that I had never made more than $75,000 in my own business prior to that. And as soon as I cut my goals way back and focused on, like, I could buy, the most amount of money that I'd ever made in my own business was $75,000 up to that point, in like solo, that I had generated myself. And so what I discovered is that when you double your best goal, when you double it, that's about, until you can do what Tellman can do and now what I can do now, but I couldn't do it back then,
right? Which
is re-engineer your brain to believe that it's possible for you on demand and buy it, so that when you're not just saying, like when you say, I want $1,000 a month, and on the surface it seems like that's doable and you believe it's possible, but if internally, and only you can decide this, right? If internally you're saying, no, I can't, I've never done it before, I'm incapable of this, I'm a bad student, or whatever, those are who you're being, and you can't engineer the results that are going to, it's not that anything magical, it's just that you won't see the options that are available to you because you're tuning into all the obstacles in between where you are right now and where it is that you don't believe that you can get to, right? So the challenge is, in my opinion, sometimes is, and again, this is internal to every person, and only you can truly determine what's a stretch for you. And the challenge is to make it a stretch for you, and not so much that it's way beyond your, pushing your belief system way beyond what you can even imagine and believe is possible for you, but also stretch it enough so that it snaps you out of the status quo of where you are. And what I've found is that there's the space in between your best on any subject and doubling your best, somewhere in there is that, that ideal space of believable. It's enough of a stretch to kick you out of the status quo, but it's so that you can move toward, but you're also willing to move towards it in a way that says, well, it's doable, it's believable, right? And that's a big, big shift. And I'll tell you, when I first started building my online business, even though I had some sizable success offline, and some sizable, I broke it down, and I made my first goal in that online business, because I didn't know a thing about it. I made my first goal is, let me get to $3,000 a month in income from my online business. And that was doable to me. I figured I could figure it out. Like I was following somebody and I could do that was a bite-sized chunk to me, even though frankly that I probably could have set a bigger goal, but I purposely pared it back. And very quickly, by the way, I got to, and I should point out that I had never made $3,000 a month in my own online business before, and I had never made it on autopilot. It like in the way that I build out online businesses now. So, but the point is that I got there within, I think it was less than a month. It took me to get to that 3,000. So I set a bigger goal. And I don't remember whether my first goal was $1,000. It may have been even $1,000 a month and then 3,000. I don't remember. But it was what I do remember is that within 18 months of making that decision, of giving myself permission to fail and to chunk back and to become a thin air thousandaire before a thin air millionaire, the point is that in less than 2 years, I was a cash millionaire. Like I was earning more than $1 million a year as a result of that, just, steadily. And I should point out that I tried for 32 years to become a millionaire, and it was just too big a chunk. But when I did that, boom, rather rapidly, I might add, because in my mind, like a year and a half is no big whoop that's pretty high speed to be able to earn $1 million a year. I mean, like, hell.
Yeah. And again, I think most people definitely are going to be able to use that methodology to get more success. It's definitely more achievable. It's definitely like more realistic. It's definitely within most people's frame of what is or isn't possible. Totally not how I operate. But that doesn't in any way make it wrong, right? Like I struggled until I decided I was going to make $1 million a year, and then I did, right? Or have my first $1 million year, and then I had an $800,000 year. I mean, so whatever. So it's very, very interesting. But Ben, here's the deal, man. What I would say to you is, number one, get your NPod CDs out and go back through them and do everything. Number two, and those are 17 years old. Okay. So there's a bunch of stuff in there that is on a technical level no longer true. You're going to need to get like ClickFunnels or Lead Pages or Samcart or ConvertTree or something like that, so that you can start selling stuff and building your list. And those services didn't exist when the original NPod CDs were created. And by the way, just so everybody knows, when Joshua created the original NPod home study program and CD set, which happens to be on my desk right here.
And that's not the original one, by the way.
Well, this isn't the original, but, and I know that there was the VHS and the cassette tapes, which is the real original, but.
Yeah, it's gone through different updates over the years.
But the training is the same.
Yes. And the core training.
It is all like the principles behind it: choosing a niche, choosing a market, focusing in on exactly what those markets' wants and needs are, building rapport, bond, trust, and connection with that market, generating traffic, building your list. All those things totally the same. So if you're looking for like what's the quickest and easiest way for you to make progress, you personally, is go through those CDs. I recommend that you go through one CD like every 2 to 3 days, go through it and then implement the crap out of it, and then go to the next CD, implement the crap out of it. Stay tuned in with us every single day while we're live streaming. And the other thing, Ben, I'm going to challenge you. And the way in which I'm going to challenge you is I'm going to say, how bad do you actually want this? On a scale of 1 to 10, you've told me that you fail a lot. You've told me that you're a bad student, right? How much do you actually want to be a successful internet entrepreneur on a scale of 1 to 10? And there's no wrong or right answer to this. I mean, genuinely deep down in your heart, how bad do you want it? That's my question to you. How bad do you want it?
You just put in 10.
10. Great. If you want it on 10, then is there anything that you're not willing to do, as long as it's moral and ethical? Is there anything you're not willing to do in order to build the online business of your dreams? If there is, tell me what it is. On a scale of 1 to 10, you want it 10. So other than being morally and ethically questionable, which I hope you wouldn't do, is there anything that you're absolutely not willing to do in order to get there? Great. So, Ben.
And for the benefit of everybody watching that isn't seeing the comments, Ben just said no.
Good. Okay. Awesome. So I'd like to extend an invitation to anyone that's watching this video, and I'd like to extend I'm giving you an assignment, Ben, and your assignment is to join 99 Days and to start live streaming every day for the next 99 days, starting today. So what you want to do is, I'm actually going to put the link in the group here.
Great idea.
And anyone...
Ben, I don't know if he's a member of the group. Ben,
are you a member of the Art of Email Marketing? You should also join the Art of Email Marketing. It's a free Facebook group that we put together where we're also broadcasting this video right now. It's called the Art of Email Marketing. So the first thing you want to do is you want to join the 99 Days Challenge. And the idea behind 99 Days is I'm popping the link into the comments. By the way, I am going to pop the link into the comments in as many of these different live streams as I can. But what I'd like to say is that if you can't see them or you want an invite into 99 Days, please type hashtag 99 Days into the comments and shoot me a private message, and I will make sure to get you an invitation. Okay, so if for some reason you can't see it in the comments, go ahead and shoot me a private message, let me know, and type hashtag 99 Days into the comments so we can do that. So the idea here is that I want to get you out of your comfort zone pronto, and that's going to happen today. So live streaming is a really good way of making that happen. So there's this idea that Joshua and I both learned. I learned it in the 25K group. I think this probably originated with Dan Kennedy, is my guess. But the idea is, thank you, Joe Polish, is anything which is tracked improves, or that which is tracked improves, and that which is tracked and reported on improves exponentially. And so
that which is measured improves, and that's which is measured and reported back on. Yeah.
All right. Absolutely. Great. Thank you. And so I've absolutely found this to be true. And what I mean by that is if you pay attention to your results and you measure them, and you look at those on a regular basis, and you put the conscious awareness on getting better, on improving your results, like lifting weights, right? You're increasing the weight, you're increasing the reps, you're increasing the sets, and you're probably increasing the types of exercises that you do over time. You're becoming stronger. You're getting better.
Yeah.
You do the same with your business. And so 99 Days offers a totally free tool and network of people who are actively doing this for themselves and their business. Gives you the opportunity to do something every single day to improve your life or your business. Most people choose their business and are using Facebook live streaming as a way of connecting with their people, of getting more comfortable in front of camera, of creating more content, of building a larger social media following on Facebook, of setting up a situation where they can start building a group. It is a wonderful way, if you want to be successful online, it is a wonderful way of creating content on a daily basis that costs you nothing and is quick and easy to do, and is the type of content that people love to consume on the planet right now. So 99 Days is a free group that we set up.
Congrats, Ben. I'm excited to see you take immediate action. He says that he's pending to join the group. Both groups or just 99 Days?
Awesome. And Ben, when you get in there, go into the units, watch some of the videos, and record your first video on your personal Facebook page using your phone or your laptop desktop, and then share it to the group as your first of 99 Days videos, which you'll get instructions about that inside the group anyway. But we would love to have you. And that's the first step, even if you don't know your niche. In the meantime, Ben, you are now approved for 99 days. In the meantime, please find those CDs, find your workbook if you can, and start going through NPOD right now. And do all the lessons and don't screw around. That's it. What do you have to say about that, Joshua?
I couldn't have said it better myself. And one more thing, Ben, that I would highly recommend if I were in your shoes right now is stop looking for some secrets to marketing or Facebook or AdSense or whatever you're looking for, because that's a shortcut that you're looking for, and it's an excuse not to get into motion. You have the tools, you have the education, you've got sitting on your bookshelf right now and on your hard drives, I would imagine, more than enough training information to get you well into motion to, at a minimum, make you several $1,000s a month if deployed, if executed. And there's no answers. Even a mentor for you at this point is premature, because if you have the perfect guide that's perfect to you, and you learn everything from this mentor perfectly, there is always going to be a gap between learning it in an intellectual sense and actually putting it into action in the real world experientially. And you're going to have to go through the learning curve of actually going through the application side of it, in addition to going through the learning curve of learning it intellectually. So why not learn and do simultaneously?
Yeah, do not. Okay, so this is a huge problem. It comes back to how to ask effective questions. So many people will ask questions just so they can talk and think about the ideas, but not ask questions that will give them something to execute on, because that's work. And most people that are stuck at start keep on learning and never do. And so it is critically important that you schedule in both education and execution time every single day. I recommend an hour of education, hour of execution, 6 days a week. Okay? Assuming you're taking 1 day a week completely off from business, and if you're not, then do it 7 days a week. Especially if you're trying to get some momentum going and really get cranking. Like, get up early and do it before everybody else in your household gets up, and get to work. To piggyback on what you were saying about execution and the doing process, Joshua, one of the trickiest pieces is the entrepreneur or the wantrepreneur who doesn't know where they want to go. Because if you have the best, again, same thing. If you have the best mentor in the world, the best teacher in the world, but if let's say you have the best Sherpa in the world, they've been up every mountain a million times. They know every path, they know every way, they know every, right? In all of Nepal or whatever. And you don't even know what mountain you want to go up. You don't even know if you want to go up a mountain.
Or what you want to sightsee up on the way up.
Like, so you're just going to waste all your time, effort, energy, and money flip-flopping around on nothing, and you're not going to get anything out of it, and all of a sudden your vacation's going to be over and you won't have climbed up any mountains. Okay? That's not what you want, but if you're stuck at start, that's where you're at. So critically important that you decide on where you're going to go. You need to decide on your destination, even if you don't know exactly how to get there yet. You need to make your mind up. No one can do that for you. You need to decide what you're going to go after first.
And you need to give up having it look a certain way or having it being perfect, having perfect clarity before you start, and pick something. And once you get to that something, if it's not what you want, then at least you took action and you moved towards it. And then you'll know what, at the very least, you'll know what you don't want to do.
Exactly.
What you don't want, and you can course correct from there. But the whole process is one of learning and doing at the same time. And it's certain, at a certain point in time, you simply have to snatch up your balls and take action without understanding. Because as perfect as it might be on anything that you've never done before, then you have to learn and do simultaneously. There's no other way around it.
It's just like riding a bike. And guess what? You're going to get your knees scraped. Sorry.
until you figure out how to do it.
Do you really want to ride the bike?
Master it.
Do you really want to ride the bike? Because if you do, you can put on a helmet and some knee pads, but you're still going to fall off that damn thing, and it's still going to hurt sometimes. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, very rarely is there a phenom, right? I mean, it happens, but you can't count on it.
Right. So very, very, very interesting. Very interesting. So, when asking questions about, how do I move my business forward? How do I really think about asking clear questions is important. Asking questions that are a sentence. How do I? How can I? How do I deal with this? How can I learn this? This is a challenge I have. How can I overcome this obstacle? But asking questions that when you have the answer, it's something that's able to be executed on by you. So, and think about asking questions that if you have the answer, they're not only be able to execute it on by you, but executed by onto you today, ideally. Now, that's not always going to be the case. But you want to look at asking questions where you can move the needle today, where you get the answer today and you can do something about it. So, like, how long do I boil gluten-free angel hair pasta for in order to have a great spaghetti tonight? Like, how long do I boil that for? So one of the cool things about Google is it's taught some of us how to ask better questions. So again, think about taking your question.
Carl just joined us. Thank you very much, by the way, Carl, for he's the comments. In case you're not inside the art of email marketing, he's the comments that just came in. He says, great advice for Ben and gems for me too. Yeah, and for all of us, frankly. I mean, the saying, we teach what we most need to learn and or remember, because we may have forgotten it.
That's right.
Guilty.
It's true. Carl, by the way, got everything you sent over, and I have an email on its way to you here in a little while today, so keep your eyes open for that. It's great to reconnect, by the way. Very cool. Yeah, I mean, it's so easy to just, especially if you're a thinker, if you're smart, if you can read, and you like learning things. It is very easy to get caught in this kind of underconfident state of not wanting to pull the trigger because you don't want to do it wrong, or you don't want to look like a dumbass or whatever. Really easy.
Yeah.
And so when you're asking questions, ask questions, again, not for the sake of asking questions, but for getting an answer you can do something with, ideally.
Yeah. And sometimes we ask questions, and I'm being gentle here, but sometimes we ask questions because we want to be acknowledged, and we want to be recognized. And while there's nothing wrong with being recognized, I'm a big fan of recognition, and I love praising people up. But false praise is not going to benefit anybody. And oftentimes, if the question being asked is just to feel smarter or to get recognized because or to point out how smart you are, or what you've done, or who you know, or the different things that you've tried, oftentimes that is not only a waste of time, it only serves to keep you stuck where you are as opposed to moving you forward.
That's right. So I'd like to extend to everyone watching right now, ask a marketing question right now in the comments. A business, an entrepreneurial question. What question do you have that if you had the answer to this right now, you'd be able to take a step forward in your business today? Whatever that is. It doesn't have to be the biggest step in the world. Where are you stuck? Let us help to guide you. That's why we're here. Please ask your marketing questions in the comments in either this or future videos. But if you ask one today, chances are good you're going to get an answer in the next few minutes that will be really, really, really helpful to you. And I found that it's really funny. There's so many shy people on the flip side of this who just have tons of questions, but they don't want to look stupid, so they don't ask them. And guys, we are not in grade school anymore. Okay? Seriously. Stop being embarrassed about asking questions. Asking questions is the quickest, easiest, and fastest shortcut you can ever find. There are Go ahead.
And I was just going to say, it's interesting because that is the same symptom, if you will, of not wanting, of wanting to know everything ahead of time before you execute on it, right? And having that perfect clarity, and then, the linear learning trap of, well, first I'll learn everything and then I'll do it, right? But really, it has to be learned by doing, learn and doing simultaneously. It's literally the only way. And that's the same thing. Like if you're afraid to ask a question, it's because you want to have the perfect question to ask, right? And you're afraid of getting feedback that it's not the perfect question. But that's the only way that you can zone in on it. I mean, how many times have Tellman and I, between the two of us in the last month or so, in the last 30 live streams that we've done or whatever, how many times have we tweaked and refined and working on, explaining things better, clearer, and we're honing in on it, but we ain't there yet. Like we're using this as an opportunity to get clarity with each other, to get clarity with what people are struggling with, and it's a evolutionary process, and you're watching it unfold in front of you as we're doing it and modeling it for you to then do the same thing, regardless of whether it's based on a question, not knowing what to ask, blah, blah, blah.
That's right. So,
and I just want to remind, a good question just came in from Carl, but I just want to remind you that we have 13 minutes till our noon meeting.
Yes. Okay, so we have some questions coming in. So I'm going to help coach you guys to ask better questions. We're going to take the seed of your question. I think we're going to tweak it. So, Carl, I think you're probably the person who said, how would you rank the importance of the various components of marketing, right? And that's kind of like, I'd like you to imagine that there's a handyman, really good handyman. This handyman or handywoman, handy person, has every tool imaginable. They've got one of those super cool white trucks with all the doors on them. They're filled with every tool, every part, every piece, everything. This handy person can fix anything. Anything in your house that's broken. Handy person to the rescue. And that's what you're asking about marketing, is like, how would you rank the importance of the various tools of fixing your house? And the answer is they're all important. It depends on what you're trying to fix or what you're trying to build.
And what's broken.
So how I would rank them doesn't fucking matter. Like, I can give you a Tellman's top 10 marketing tools review, but it's bogus. It's just like, it's BS. It's just to like make people feel good that they might be going down the wrong path. So what I would say is, what are you trying to accomplish with your business? I can tell you some tools that would probably be really helpful with that. Assuming you're going to build a platform, build an email list, and sell either e-com or info marketing related stuff, like some kind of landing page creator is pretty important, and an autoresponder is pretty important, and a shopping cart is pretty important. Like, those are...
I mean, and it also depends on what is in the context of what you're trying to accomplish. Globally, there's some critical pieces, just like, there's zero factors across the board on everything. But like, if you're talking about writing a sales letter, for example, or a sales letter for X, for example, then there are key components that are zero factors or that have the biggest effect, the 80-20 effect on it. And then there's also different things, but maybe it's not a marketing issue, but you're not getting the marketing results that you want. Maybe it's a business model issue, or think about it from your engineering background.
Make it more personal. Make the question more personal. Ask a question that if you had the answer to it, you could move your business forward today. One step. Okay? So, like, I could just say something like, you need an all-in-one solution. Go use Kajabi. But, like, we don't even know what we're talking about. You know what I mean? We don't know the business. We don't know the market. We don't know the situation. We don't know the size of your team. We don't know like your strengths. We don't know what you're trying to build. We don't know how you're trying to build it. We don't know what industry you're operating within. So let's get more clear.
Same advice for Marilyn, but I'm sure you're going to speak to that now.
Similar advice is so Marilyn asked a good question, which is how to get higher conversions, aka buyers online. So both Carl and Marilyn, and Ben or anybody else is check this out. I want to get good at writing sales letters. I know sales letters work really well in my industry, and I'd like to know who you'd recommend I study to get really good at writing long copy sales letters. That's a kick-ass question. And my answer is go through John Carlton's course. I think he's selling it for some obscenely low amount of money right now.
It's brilliant. I mean, it's still universally one of the best programs I've ever been through on copywriting.
Simple writing system, right? And then if you were like, you know what? I've seen a bunch of people in my industry with kick-ass video sales letters. I've never made one. Where do I learn how to make a video sales letter that converts so I can sell my self-improvement program on ClickBank? Because my sales system right now sucks, and I think a VSL really would do the trick. And I would say John Benson.
Right.
John Benson recently redid his old VSL process, and he launched it. I think it's called like VSL Now or something. Super simplified, super updated.
Is that different than Accelerator?
Yeah, it's new. It's new. It's evolved. And I think he's selling it for $500, whereas it used to be like 5,000, right? And if you were going to say like, what's the best autoresponder to use if I'm taking my offline chiropractic business online and I want to stay in touch with my previous clients? I would say probably MailChimp, right? So, Marilyn says, what about Joe?
Before you move on to Joe Vitale's stuff, I just want to just speak just for a second about the higher conversions in online buyers. That answer is going to change depending on a number of things, right? And so what Tellman's talking about in terms of getting more specific, like for example, if you're running advertising, okay, great. Then that's a different answer than doing organic marketing and or joint venture marketing or affiliate-based marketing. It's a different environment that you're operating in. And then within that, there's even nuances that, like, for example, if you're just to follow down on the advertising route, if you're doing Facebook advertising, it's completely different than YouTube advertising, completely different than GDN advertising, completely different than Twitter. I mean, like all of those things have different nuances. And so we would need to know specifically what you're trying to accomplish and where the particular differences in the, in the journey of what you're trying to accomplish.
Right.
If that makes sense.
So there are also like 1,000 different answers to your question, Marilyn. So, for example, well, you're asking two separate questions. How to get higher conversions, aka buyers online. So first of all, how to increase your conversion is different than how to get more buyers. Okay? Now, if
there's even a bigger question, frankly, is what type of buyers are you optimizing for? Anyway, go ahead, Tellman. I didn't mean to.
Yeah, so it's like the first question, you want more buyers? Great. I'd say, how often are you sending email to your email list? So that's my question to you, Marilyn. If you want more buyers, how often do you send a broadcast to a good chunk or all of your email list?
Or what is your process currently? Like what are your current, what is the way? I mean, is it direct linking? Is it do you have a subscriber list that you're promoting to and that you're, gradually making, growing that subscriber base and promoting regularly through your emails? Or, what is the process that is generating the not optimized conversions that you want right now?
So here's what you could do. So if you're like, well, how do I double my number of customers that are coming in every week? I would say, well, one option is you can double the frequency that you're mailing your email list. Boom, problem solved. Another way is you can say, well, double the amount of traffic you're getting. So if you're organic, like maybe open up a new traffic source, or if you're not putting as much energy into your new traffic as you could, then great, start spending an hour a day, like really focusing in on your traffic source and double the amount of traffic you're getting. However, if the question is about specifically how to increase the conversions on your website, you could ask, here's a link to my squeeze page for my email list. Do you have any suggestions that I could split test to help improve my opt-in rate? And the answer would be yes. All right. You could drop us a link, and Joshua and I could give you 10 different things you could do to improve the conversion on your opt-in page. If you have a sales letter and it's currently converting, you're selling a $47 product and it's converting at 1.3%, and you want to increase your conversion on your sales letter, you could say, hey, the conversion on my sales letter has dropped in the last 6 months. Do you have any ideas on what I could split test on my sales letter in order to increase the conversion? And the answer is yes. We could give you a headline. We could give you a different shopping cart you use. We could give you some ways of structuring it. You could add more add to cart buttons. You could add a bump to your offer. You could put an upsell in there, right? You could add a continuity program as an upsell or a stabilize your monthly income. Crap load of stuff that you can do to improve the profitability of your funnel, to increase the conversion of your sales letter, to increase the conversion of your opt-in rate, and in order to increase the effectiveness and responsiveness of your email list, both through frequency of emailing and through the types of emails you send and the way in which you write them, right? Okay, so Joshua, do you want to respond?
I'm sorry. I was following up with Marie about our meeting in 3 minutes.
Cool. So Marilyn, So the answer is there's no such thing as better in marketing. So the question is, I have an email list. Awesome. So I'm glad you have an email list. How often are you sending to it, Marilyn? That's the question. How frequently? How many days a week or a month? Or like, what's your schedule for broadcasting that list? So for someone selling info products, is it better to have a long form sales letter over a video sales page? The answer is no. No, it is not. What's better is to split test. And whichever one works better for your traffic and your audience is the one that's going to make you more money.
And here's something else that's just something to consider over time is that however people are conditioned and trained to interact with your business is how they want to continue to interact and to exchange communications with you. So oftentimes the methodology by which you are communicating to people, the message might be perfect, the offer might be awesome, but if they're not used to hearing from you in the communication medium by which you have switched to, or the way in which you're delivering that message, they may tune you out. They may not even see you anymore because of what they've been programmed to look for in their way of being. So you've got to be cognizant of that. I mean, that, a typical thing that used to happen in like a typical classic two-step response rate in a two-step process to buy, where somebody would answer a small ad or see something. I mean, the same thing applies today on, with the Facebook ads and so on. But the idea is that they see an ad, they respond to that ad for more stuff, a special report, a free video, whatever, and then they buy from that special report, free video, etc. But what you're starting to do over time is you're starting to condition them to always buy in that fashion. And it's not just always buy, period, that way. It's more like when they think of you, they think of this is how this process works. This is how I'm supposed to behave inside of your system. Right. So just be aware of that.
Okay. So Marilyn, how often are you emailing your email list? That's the question I need an answer to from you. Please type that into the comments. So You came back and said, going back to the start, what's the simplest way to get a sales page conversion? This is why so many people get confused. There's so many different ways to do it. And that's because that's not the right question. Okay? So there's no simplest way. I mean, you know what? The simplest way is not to have a sales page. The simplest way to get a sales conversion is a one-on-one conversation. No technology. You have a face-to-face conversation with someone and they hand you some cash and you hand them a pizza. That's the simplest way. Everything else is more complicated. And step one, you need to learn the sales process. So it sounds to me like you should learn one of three things. A, how to write sales letters. B, how to write and create video sales letters. Or C, how to write, create, and perform sales webinars. Here's a hint. Once you learn how to write one of these, when you go to the other ones, it's going to be a cakewalk because you'll have already learned all the basics of direct response copywriting. Is it simpler to write a long copy sales letter than a video sales letter? I don't know. I have an easier time getting on and doing a webinar a headshot webinar just like this off the top of my head with like 5 to 7 bullet points written out either on a text document up in front of me on my computer or on a index card that I can hold in my hand or set around my computer while I'm broadcasting. For me, that's the simplest because I've done so many presentations, both from stage, webinars, teleseminars, that like I can get on, I can monologue for 90 minutes and sell something at the end with little or no preparation. But that's because that's what I've practiced for a bunch of years. If you find that you're better at sitting down, being disciplined on a regular basis, and you're better at writing, you're good with words, you're great at reading, you're great at learning, and you like writing essays, long copy, stories, this kind of stuff, sales letters might be better, right? So there's not one of these things that's the best way to do it. That doesn't exist. What exists is you learning a skill and then implementing that process and trying it. So in your market, I would look around and I'd ask yourself, I know that you've been in the personal development, self-improvement space for a long time, and you have friends and colleagues in the space. So whoever businesses you're trying to emulate, that's a good place to start.
And also where your current conversions are right now and the process by which they do that you're not satisfied with, that you don't think are optimum. What does it look like and what are the conversion rates currently? And then we can look for specific breakdowns that we could help you patch that would improve, the lowest hanging fruit.
Right. I totally agree, by the way. There are different technology options. For example, Samcart has a really streamlined option where you can just have an order form and you don't need to write any sales copy. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean it's going to convert well necessarily. It could simplify the process. But this is something you'll need to study for the rest of your life and constantly be getting better at it. It's not like there's one solution for you here, right? However, there is one little piece that I would like to bring up because it's definitely something that's changed in the last few years, which is that before streaming video was a thing, yeah. Okay, cool. So we're going to wrap up right now. I'm going to give Marilyn one last piece and then we've got to wrap up for the day, but we'll be back tomorrow.
Nothing personal, Marilyn and everybody. It's just that we've got another meeting to fly to, and I will start that so that Tellman can finish. See ya.
I'll meet you there in a sec, Joshua.
Okay.
So the big thing that I want to bring up is that before streaming video was a thing, long copy sales letters ruled, okay? And then teleseminars came in where there was a more personal connection. That's a live voice on the phone. And then teleseminars dramatically increased conversion. And then webinars came around, and video dramatically increased conversion over teleseminars. And then sales videos came around, and sales videos started increasing conversion over sales letters. And then all the browsers switched everything so that all the videos that were autoplay started on mute. Okay, and when that happened, sales letter conversion dropped. And what increased was sales letter conversion with a sales video either right there on the letter at the top with the letter down below, or putting people both in front of sales letters and sales videos at different points in time through the marketing process so they get exposed to both. So there's no one answer. The answer is you got to start with something, go ahead and do it, learn how to do it, then learn how to do something else, and learn how to do something else, and keep testing it, see what works best for you, your skill set, your abilities, your team, and most importantly, your market, your tribe, your people, right? In the meantime, Marilyn, I'd like you to start emailing your list more. Simply put, this week, send them 3 emails this week. Next week, 4 emails. The week after that, 5 emails. The week after that, 6 emails. The week after that, 7 emails. Start increasing your frequency, and you will absolutely start making more money, in my experience and opinion. I think that's about it for today. Bring your questions. Bring your clear marketing questions back to the table tomorrow. Thank you, everybody, for playing ball. And in particular to Ben and Carl and Marilyn, quick shout out to you all for asking questions and being willing to be coached on how to ask clearer, better questions so you can really drive your business forward. My name is Tellman Knudson. You'll see myself and Joshua Shafran again tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern. That's all for now. If you guys want to start live streaming on a regular basis, start generating more traffic, then type 99 days into the comments, and I'll get you an invitation in the 99 days group, and you'll be able to see Ben's first video later today. All right, everybody.